smokers get lung cancer. Not all tobacco chewers get oral cancer. So the amount of tobacco which is being chewed in India, I'm sure then everybody should be having oral cancer. Definitely not. So it is not that. It is only the awareness and prevention. Prevention naka odane odippai tobacco nirthanum, alcohol nirthanum, adu madrilla kadayad. You take everything in moderation, and if you have some problem, definitely attend to it immediately. Don't delay it. The problem is the delay. If anybody wants to interrupt me in between and ask something, I am ready for it also. So please don't delay it. The delay is the most difficult situation in cancer. Awareness and prevention, yes, we have to be aware. Kindly be aware about any abnormality which is happening in your body. So we have lived in our body for 50 years, more than 50 years. So we will know if there is something abnormal. If there is something abnormal, please attend to it. That is what is the take home message today. Once our age advances, it is always better if there is something abnormal to attend to it. Just don't leave it so that that overtakes you. Next slide, Narajan. So I will come to how we have had our experience during the COVID impact. Next, please. So first we were not really bothered about the COVID at all, even though the government gave us lot of fear and lot of public gave us lot of fear. But our problem is on that day, that is March 25th, we had about 280 patients sitting inside the hospital taking treatment. Now, what do we do with them? There's a lockdown announced, and do we chase them out? We can't do that. And the other main problem which we had was the financial implication. Because we are a standalone cancer hospital, we don't have any other facilities like cardiac, nephro, and things like that, nor did we have the COVID ward. So we didn't have any other income except treating cancer patients alone. And as you are aware, we are a voluntary charitable organization and we live mostly on donation and aids. And most of the donations at this time were diverted towards the COVID pandemic. And only 30% of our patients pay. So we really had a tough time, but we never, whatever we saved for a rainy day, we used for our patients and our staff for the salary also. Because the staff, we did not want to let down the staff. We have about 1,058 staff. We never let them down, and we had them all in our payroll completely up to August. Can I have the next one, please? So on April 10th, we had the first positive case which was reported at our hospital. And the health department immediately they stepped in and they gave us, I wouldn't say that it was advice. They themselves did not know what actually is to be done. They told us you cannot have a common entrance. You have to have one entrance for inpatient and one entrance for outpatient. Now you have only a common gate, and how can we do this? It was impossible, but so we had to break the wall, almost break the IIT wall also, and have another entrance. All these were expenditures. So, and we closed they told us to close the institute for 1 week. So we did not have any outpatients at all for that 1 week. So the fact of the disease and how it had to be dealt was slowly emerging only in after April 10th. Next slide, please. Patients have too many questions. There were two questions which I was never able to answer. One is, doctor, is it better to have COVID or cancer? So whether you have cancer or whether you have COVID, if you're going to die, you're going to die. So he says, you treat the cancer. If I get COVID, let me die. Anyway, with cancer, I may die one day. So let it happen. And one more question which is still unanswered is, chemotherapy, you have high technology chemotherapy and high fundo radiotherapy. Why cannot it kill COVID virus? Now, where do we answer? You know, some certain chemotherapies are about 80,000, 90,000 per injection. And the high technology radiations cost about 2, 3 lakhs. So they ask us, why do you say that? You treat the cancer, it may even kill the COVID, because nobody knows what the treatment was. So these were two questions, pertinent questions from the patient, which I was unable to answer. None of us were able to answer. Next one, Natarajan, please. So I'll just show you next, please. I'll just show you how we have divided our hospital. No, the makeshift division was done between inpatient and outpatient. It was really tiresome and cumbersome. No, it was patients will not listen to us. Our patients are all very rustic. They will never understand what you are trying to tell them. They are rustic to the core. So they will only fight with you if you ask them. So we couldn't really maintain many things. Next slide, sir. Natarajan. So so this is what we are breaking the wall at the main entrance. Next one, Natarajan. Next one. So we tried to do all these things. Next one, please. Next one, please. Nobody will listen. Nobody will sit at where you have told. No social distance will be followed. This is what is on the right side is the children's ward, and what is on the left side is the adult ward. I think the picture is slightly compressed. So what we did not really like is the telephonic consultation. These were all hurdles for us. Telephonic consultation, is it justified? You tell me a patient has a cancer, it is nothing like feeling the patient and looking at the patient and examining the patient. To nothing like that. We cannot do a consultation. You can only tell them one or
Natarajan,
two
mute
words.
others. Natarajan, mute others.
Suresh has to do.
Yeah,
Suresh
yeah.
has to do.
I'll do
Yeah,
it.
mute,
I'll do it.
please.
I'll do it.
Ask
Yeah.
them to mute.
Can I just request everybody to mute themselves, please? I can also mute, but yeah.
Yeah. So there should not be any intervention. Otherwise, it is difficult for to talk. So there should not be any intervention. So after finishing his talk, and then we will ask for any questions and all. We will finish. Let her finish her talks first. That was what I'm saying. Please.
Can I continue?
Yep.
Yeah. You start, madam.
So pediatric cases were never declined because you cannot say no to a child, a 1-year-old child or a 5-year-old child or a 10-year-old child, whatever age it is or whatever condition the patient comes in. They come with lot of hope to you. You may or may not cure them, but they come with lot of hope to you. We definitely cannot decline them. We cannot blame COVID and decline them. So, but elective surgeries, yes, we have cancelled elective surgeries. The usual mastectomies we have cancelled, and any usual hysterectomies we have cancelled. But emergency surgeries went on, definitely went on. We used to have, we used to give a lot of trouble to the anesthetist. I think Suresh is anesthetist. So, we used to give them a lot of trouble. We used to take emergency tracheostomies. You know, the post-cricoid growths or the laryngeal growths, they need immediate tracheostomy. If you don't do a tracheostomy, patient is dead. So you, before doing the COVID, you have to take them to the theater and do a tracheostomy immediately. But all our anesthetists were really very cooperative towards all these things. And there was a theater which was always ready only for patients who did not have a COVID negative report. It was mainly for tracheostomy, or what we do is external carotid artery ligation for a heavily bleeding tongue cancer or a cheek cancer. We used to do external carotid artery ligation. So they used to, these cases we have to take in an emergency basis. Chemotherapy, palliative cases were stopped, but some cases we went on even after an informed consent, because there are 20% of early cases you can fail, and 20% of palliative cases you can be successful. So what do you stop? Do you stop this or do you stop that? Whom do you know is going to be cured? We never knew anything. And what I mean by different fractionation is for radiotherapy, where we had to use, suppose you had a symbol of 180 centigrade per day, we went on with 250 and 300 per day, which may or may not be detrimental to the patient. So we never even decided, but we just went on with all types of fractionation which we wanted to. Next slide, Natarajan. So May 2020, I think you all know this, that we were expected to learn how to live with the disease. கோவிடோட சேர்ந்து வாழ பழகிக்கோங்கன்னு அப்பதான் சொன்னாங்க நம்ம கிட்ட. But enough damage was already done. Enough damage was already done to most of the cancer patients. There were treatment delays, there were progressive disease, and most of the patient, if you ask me, if I am really truthful, I should say 90% of the patients whom we treated with radiotherapy during this pandemic never survived. I don't want to say anything about chemotherapy or surgery. And you know, there are umpty number of guidelines to be followed, the NCCN, the ESMO, the all sorts of guidelines. Nobody was allowed to speak about guidelines because nobody can follow guidelines. They say you 10th day you have to give radiation, nobody can give it. But students were very happy because all classes were in Zoom and nobody needs to, then there was a 1 week on, 1 week off and things like that. All students were happy. We did not continue with our preventive or screening activities. We were not allowed to go out anywhere. Next slide, Natarajan. I think this is just to show how the statistics fell off. See, if you can see our usual new outpatient cases in a month is about 1,300 to 1,500, and which came down to 250 and 260. You know, that is almost 1/6. And we still have not regained to that level. We are still at around 900 only. We have not yet come to 1,000. We have never crossed 1,000 even today. So that means there is still some fear among patients. They are not coming. So we may get an exodus of advanced diseases probably in November. I'm not sure. We are likely to get an exodus of higher stage cases probably by end of November. Next slide, please. So finally, as a result, as you said, whatever damage has to be done has been done. We are slowly limping back to normalcy. But we are very well trained to handle another pandemic. I'm very sure we can definitely handle another pandemic. I'm sure all of you will agree. Then we have learned to face it and live with it from the beginning. As you all know, cancer cannot wait. Cancer will not wait. It will definitely not wait. It will show who it is and what it is. Thank you for your patient listening. I'm ready to answer any question.
Questions are welcome. Bhuneshwaran going first.
Bhuneshwaran.
Hi, Selva.
Hi, Bhuneshwaran.
Very nice to see and listen to you. Such a maturity, such a confidence. Very, very nice. In fact, I'm not asking a question. I just want to share a few of our experience, which exactly is like yours. Like, we have a multi-disciplinary hospital, a multi-speciality hospital attached to the medical school.
Yes.
Before that, before Corona, we used to get around 2,000 patients a day. That's our routine statistics. And in March, it fell down to 1,000. April and May, we came to 500. And from June onwards, we were one of the first early hospitals to start Corona admissions. So our Corona statistics, even till date, we have anytime inpatients around 400 to 500 patients. We have a ICU, which is around 50 bedded. And our regular, that is non-Corona statistics, from 500 now, we have almost touching 1,200. So and we have again a very well-established oncology, and we are going for an exclusive oncology center, which will be commissioned in 2021. But except radiotherapy, we have all the other facilities. Interestingly, I was really surprised when, because there was so much of I think you are talk gave me an idea that it is was very pessimistic. Was it so because we never had so much of issues in treating our non-corona patients, and many of our, in fact, among this last 6 months, I clearly remember only about 6 or 7 of the cancer patients had to go to the corona hospital. All others were managed here, but we obviously don't have so much of your statistics. We have around 100 to 120 cases as our OPD for oncology alone. I'm just talking about. But the message was very clear. It was really an eye-opener for all of us. I'm sure that because I see cut across many of our classmates, some people having clinics, some people having hospitals, some people having institutions, and all of us have gone through this in a very painful way. But as you have correctly said, that we are all prepared now mentally for another pandemic, and we pray God that we don't get such situations again. Because I think slowly we are now coming out, very slowly.
Yes.
The numbers in Coimbatore is also slowly coming down. But I think the patients whom you are seeing, or patients who seek free treatment only, or who pay for the treatment also.
No, there are only 30% who pay really. They will be mostly reimbursable patients, and 70% of them, 70% lay, 30% are totally free, that they don't come into the Chief Minister scheme also. The rest of the 40% only comes into such schemes. So 70% of them literally do not pay any cash to us.
One more thing, Selvalakshmi, you mentioned about the likely increase in or exodus of advanced diseases end of November.
Yes.
In our hospital, we have already done a study here. Even non-cancer patients, emergencies, the patients who are coming in for emergency like acute abdomen, appendicitis, they're all coming in more sicker. For example, in the past, if we did 100 appendixes, only 2 or 3 of them will be perforated appendixes.
Yes.
In this last 6 months, we've already had a good 20% of our appendices came perforated. People do not come to hospital even with acute abdomen, even non-cancer patients. They don't come present very late to the hospital.
So acute abdomen வரலனாக்கா கேன்சர் மெதுவா வளரட்டும்னு உட்கார்ந்துட்டே இருப்பாங்க.
The same, the Selva, wonderful talk,
Selva?
actually very practical.
Yes.
I think all of us face this situation in our own fields. Even in acute MI, we have had patients presenting very late or coming in very sick, and all over the world it is the same data. They are not coming to the hospital for fear of catching corona from the hospitals. That is much more fearsome to them than their own disease.
Yes, Jayanti, your
and
disease
that
is
is one
even
aspect. And the other thing is, you spoke about all the practical difficulties that you have had in the hospital, right from managing the situation, segregating the patients, not having the proper infrastructure to take care of such a pandemic. Every hospital had to do, leave alone government hospitals. Even private hospitals didn't have space to do that. Everywhere it was a problem. And as you rightly said, if at all a next pandemic comes, I think all of us are well we will adjust to it, and we know what to do. So that is the lesson that we have learned from this. I only wish that it never comes again, and this also goes away as quickly as possible, because it has put so many lives in trouble. Thanks, Selva, for a wonderful talk.
One more point I want. One more point I want to add. One more point I want to add.
Selva?
One is
hang
yes,
on,
please.
Surabhi.
One more point.
Natti and then Surabhi. Next. Surabhi.
One more point, and I want to add for this one. One is the transport. Transport patients from his home to hospital is very difficult. See, nearby, it will easy for them.
Yes.
If it is in Gudiyatham, if it is in Coimbatore, they have to come to in Chennai, very, very difficult. That is one of the reason. And other than corona fear also. So patient is coming down as per statistics, the transport is also taking its own part. on it.
Surabhi?
Hi, Selva.
Hi, Surabhi.
What is the percentage of COVID patients handling in your hospital? And what is the percentage of health personnels were affected during this corona period in your hospital?
Yes,
Is there any statistics?
Yes, we are not a COVID treating hospital. We were exempted from it, but I can give you statistics. We had about at least 28 patients who were affected with COVID, out of which almost 20 did not survive. Because COVID attacks mainly the immunosuppressed people,
Yes,
and
that's
once
why I
their
was asking.
immunity is low, it is very difficult to fight and come back to that level. Lung cancer, we have lost at least about 8 patients. And the other are leukemias who were on treatment, and they're, when they're on treatment before bone marrow transplant, their entire bone marrow will be washed out. So their total count itself will be zero invariably. These people, when they catch a COVID, they are not likely to survive.
No, how many your staff members are affected COVID because of treating or seeing the patient?
Yes,
seeing
staff
the patient
members even now they are being positive. Every time at least 20% will be positive.
Thank you.
Our actually
Selva.
Yes.
staff members wise, we have treated till now around 4,500 patients of COVID. Our mortality is around 1.5%. And we have till date around 200 of our staff members, doctors and non-doctors, roughly around 200. Only one person we lost, one of our employees. All others have been very weak positive, or they have just gone through very smoothly, just fever, some symptoms, not much of aggressive things which we have encountered. See, the physical bifurcation, I think, just Jayanti was telling, see, it all depends on, like, if you have two separate blocks, because I remember me discussing with Satyajit, because in Sundaram Foundation, they had a lot of difficulty because they did not have specific buildings for COVID. Some of us who have two separate blocks, in fact, our medical college block was exclusively converted for COVID, which is a 10-story building, and it can even accommodate almost up to 1,000 patients. But we were ready for about 500 patients. So we had a physical bifurcation. Whichever facility had a two separate bifurcation facility, which is, we call it as actually the Chinese model, because in the beginning we had two models. In fact, the Italian model, which had they had some floors reserved for COVID and other floors for non-COVID work. The mix-up was so high, and the mortality especially was very high. As you know, in Italy had this thing. The Chinese model from the beginning, as obviously probably many of us think that they are the ones who are behind the whole thing. And so two separate blocks that is exclusive. In fact, they built exclusive corona hospitals. They had built. So that model gave us a lot of safety, I would definitely say, and streamlined the whole thing. But the way things are happening now, as you must be seeing, that many of our states, especially the southern states, which showed a very good results in the beginning, now they are speaking like mad. Like you take Kerala, for example. Kerala was appreciated by everybody, thinking that they had contained it so well. But now if you see here, Kerala today has touched almost 11,000 patients today. So this type of thing, as we continue to keep learning. But one thing which I'm sure that all of you will agree with me is that the fear is gone from the patients. The fear is gone from the people now. People have sort of accustomed to the whole thing. And we really see that panic situation is very less now. Earlier, we remember it used to be real panic. But now I think you see, go out and see things, people are just like how they were. Some of them having a mask for their chin. So I think that's how it's happening.
But that is also very dangerous.
Yeah.
People are coming out also very, very dangerous. Yeah. It's again, it's more and more.
Of the illness is too bad. People just collapse in front of our eyes. So we have our separate COVID care center. Like Bhuneshwaran said, you have to have a separate block to take care of these patients. Then the segregation becomes easy. But then there, there also people are coming in very sick with COVID and they just die. And we do not know who's going to have a very severe disease and who's going to have a mild disease. So that is the problem with this particular disease, and people should continue to take care of their own cells. That's very important. You cannot ignore, you cannot be mingling with people, attend all the groups and things like that
Jayanti, what is
without
your
mask.
mortality like? Jayanti, what is your mortality like?
Oh, we again, I should say that we are not COVID care center. Like we initially for the first 1 month, I should say that we didn't have, like you said, numbers. We did not do a single angio at that point of time. All cases were being sent to COVID care centers for COVID care, or if they had MI, to the GH or Omandura or those places. For first 1 month, none of us were doing any angios. Then slowly we started accepting. Then, the RT-PCR results will not come. We didn't have kids. So everything was getting delayed. We were only doing thrombolytic therapy for those patients. Initially, for the first 1 month, even that was not done because we did not have the COVID status of the patient. It was so bad. So we might have lost many in that process, I should say. But since we are not COVID care hospital, we are now treating all regular patients, but we are slowly getting into the primary intervention for acute MIs. Only from this month we have started that. We are also continuing thrombolytic therapy followed by angiography also. Slowly we are trying to get back to normalcy.
That's a very clear message, because all the cardiologists who were pushing for primary PTCA, now everybody is thrombolizing. And we call it as pharmacoinvasive therapy, in which you thrombolize, the patient has a successful thrombolysis, very successful. You have elective angiogram. If the thrombolysis is less successful, you do an so-called early angiogram. That has become a standard strategy with almost all the cardiology centers. I think primary PTCA is literally gone now, at least till the corona settles down.
Now, what is the current trend of corona now? Because all the doctors are here, so you must be knowing by this time. Is it still upgoing or flattening or coming down?
Still upgoing.
Can I
because,
just
because
It is upgoing.
Bhubaneswar is told Coimbatore is coming down, but other places like
it's plateauing.
Hello.
See,
sorry, just a minute. Can you just hang on for a second? Who's that saying hello?
Srimati.
Srimati, yes, yeah, just a minute. Srimati, just hang on a minute. Nati is giving one answer and then.
No, I'm just asking questions of doctors who are sitting here because I want to know the corona impact, whether it is peaking up or flattening or coming down in all over place, in Tirupur or in Dhanapal area or in Srimati area, Tiruvayamudi Perumal area, in Nirmala, and what about they are thinking, whether it's coming down or it is same going upwards?
In Chennai, it's speaking. Hello. In Chennai.
Yes. Yeah, in Chennai it is peaking up. That was I'm getting from some municipal commissioner and all. He is telling other 2 months it will be very high. It is going to be very high.
No, it's picking up everywhere.
Okay.
See, we are all after all global, so it has to do its rounds, whether it's second wave or third wave, whatever we call it. It's only up to us to protect ourselves beyond a certain age, isn't it?
So, well, I can tell you in
definitely
UK,
going up. It's not coming down here. No.
Yeah, I can tell you in UK
And
we
Selva,
are.
that was a very mature and wonderful talk, Selva. Thank you.
In UK, definitely we are going through a second surge now, and the second surge actually, the first surge was mainly in London, but now the second surge is mainly in the north of England where we live. Only difference we found is that the viral load of the patients is much less. When the first surge happened, maybe 20-30% of the patients came to intensive care unit. Whereas with the second surge, A lot of patients are in the community only, and very few patients are getting admitted to hospital, and especially fewer patients are coming to intensive care unit. So we feel the viral load that the patients are getting, but the number of cases is high in the community.
But your mortality has come down then, no?
Mortality, yeah, we don't know, because the mortality in the community can still be there, because very elderly patients, people in care homes, they may be dying without even coming to hospital.
Okay.
See, I'm really surprised to hear from Nadarajan that Chennai is speaking. See, in India, we are not talking about second wave or nothing, because we continue to have the infection, but it's definitely plateaued. If you see all over Indian statistics, if you see here, now almost many states have started doing number of testing also. For example, see, when we were testing in our own institution, when we used to have 400 samples, we used to test a day. We used to have about 100 positive. Now the number of tests have come down significantly. We tested because now many institutions are testing. Now when we test around 140, 130 samples, we get around only 25 of becoming positive. And see, the many centers have opened up. But still the reported incidence of it is never surged beyond what we are seeing. If you take in Chennai had 2,000 and all, 1,800 cases. Now you have been going around 1,000 cases, 1,100. That has been going.
No, that is government statistics. Bhubaneswaran, that is the government statistics. In Chennai, every street, how many households, positive. All the private labs, எல்லாமே positive.
அவ்வளவு அண்டர் ரிப்போர்ட்டிங்கா எனக்கு தெரியல இங்க.
I think it's under reporting. That was it's under reporting. That was government planned one, I think. So we can't.
Don't take that as the real situation.
To stop public panic, they are doing that.
Dr. Bhubaneswaran, first of all, I have to thank Dr. Selvalakshmi for a very good talk about particularly about cancer patients. So I think we are always blaming the patient not coming to the COVID hospital. I mean, in the pandemic time, they are not coming to hospital because they are afraid of COVID. And that is maybe one of the reasons. But the other reason is doctors refuse to take care even now. I can tell you frankly, many doctors are not boldly involved in the COVID care patients. You mean when they are taken care usually by the house surgeons and your PG students. Even they are not supervised properly. That's what going on in this hospital also. That's a problem everywhere. So there are some areas like the government areas, like they say they are taking care of the COVID patients properly. But I don't know how far it's going on. Every private hospital also, there is some doctors are actually involved in the COVID care. So that's why I think we have exaggerated too much about the COVID and forgetting about the non-COVID patients. That would have led to some people unnecessarily dying at home. Even separately allotting a separate disciplinary for COVID, we have not achieved any. The cases are not coming down. They are keeping on rising. But what does it mean? I think it's very difficult to prevent this pandemic. It will go to this whole and come down. We are not going to achieve anything by miracle. We cannot cause any miracle here. The only thing is, like Kerala is a very good example. The minister was awarded, but what happened? Now is cases are on rise, more than 10,000 cases per day. It's a classical example to say this COVID is something very difficult to predict. So what is very important is that doctors also should take care, concentrate on non-COVID patients. That is the right time, because it is already almost we have come to a mature state how to take care of the COVID patients, everything. So I'm very skeptical about this. Doctors should be more involved in taking care of patients. Definitely mortality will come down, and underreporting is definitely there. Government indirectly doesn't report every patient. That is sure. What Geeta feels is, I'm also feeling that it has not reached its peak. It is on the rise. Thank you.
One point I want to add, one thing is, doctors also should take their own prevention.
Yes.
Even though if they are seeing non-COVID patient and COVID patient, they should take care himself first. Then only they should go for the patient. That point I want to stress, Dhanapal. They should take himself the first, because without COVID precautions, they can't just handle all the patients. They should take all the patients as a COVID positive. They can.
That's what.
They should protect first themselves, because they are also having family. They are also having their own background. Just like that, you can't see the patient.
No, I am not telling that without doing any.
That's what I want to stress here. Doctors should take care.
Understood.
Yes, they should take care of themselves. Yes. Thank you, Dhanapal. Very good point you noted here. Thank you.
Dhanapal, is there any use in doing IgG instead of doing the RT-PCR?
Definitely, there is no use at present. RT-PCR is a gold standard for diagnosis. IgG, if you want to use, that gives a retrospective information only. You can take it granted he has been exposed to this COVID. Other than that, it is not used for any diagnostic purpose, maybe used for surveillance purpose, but things are improving. Soon the antigen detection test will be launched. So though the sensitivity is less, that will sort out the problem of the expensive RT-PCR test. So every nook and corner you can do this.
So that's why some of the patients are RT-PCR negative, but IgG positive.
Yeah, definitely you can have this combination. Definitely. During acute stage only, the RT-PCR will be positive. So as days go by, so it depends on the patient. Some people will become negative even within a week. Some people continue to be positive even after 4 weeks. So
actually,
Dhanapal, how reliable is IgG?
The reliability.
That's what he
That's
said.
what I'm saying. The reliability is not in the brand of the test, anything. The IgG just indicates the patient had exposure to.
No, I know. I want to know what will be the,
reliability.
Will there be any false positive or false negative?
Definitely. False positives and false negatives are inherent to any diagnostic test. Even
so what will be
COVID testing has only 60 to 70% sensitivity, though the specificity is very high. So that is inherent with any testing. But even then, IgG, they are not clearly come to a conclusion about the sensitivity and specificity. Sensitivity may be there, like 85 to 90%, but what is the use of it? That's a question now. So
no, it's not like that. As practicing doctors, it might be helpful to a certain extent. If we have a serology done,
yes.
Like, can we feel really secure? That's what I want to know, at least for a short while.
That is may give a false feeling that you are secure.
See, actually, at any time,
anytime when you get infection.
That is okay, please.
See, whenever when you see in our corona block, at any time, at least around 10% of the patients, their RT-PCR is negative, but their radiological CT is very strongly suggestive and positive for COVID, with a CORAD score of 6/6 and with a severity score of more than, because there's one severity score which goes up to 25, up to 40. So there is a subgroup, as Dhanapal is highlighting. The sensitivity of the test is only 60%. We have very many patients who are RT-PCR negative, but what we call as radiologically positive. That is one group.
No, but, that I know. I'm not talking about RT-PCR. I'm asking about IgG.
Dhanapal, why you say that when somebody, see, for example, technically, scientifically, when somebody has a presence of IgG antibodies, which are specific to COVID-19, why should you say that they should have a false sense of security? Because it tells that the titers are also high. That won't that mean they are protected? That is what we are aiming to do by vaccination also. So why not? Like Jayanti asked, why not?
It's a false positivity can be due to technical issue. Like we are using antigen derived from COVID. So when you are performing the test, there will be some false positives will come due to technical problems also.
Okay.
So that's the reason. So
the other thing is, I don't think anybody knows how long does the immunity lasts. especially when you have an IgG or some
That's
antibody.
what I've Dhanapal actually ஒரு ராஜீவ் காந்தி கவர்மெண்ட் ஜெனரல் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ல ஒரு ஸ்டாஃப் செகண்ட் டைம் வந்தப்ப she died. அது உண்மைதானா?
செகண்ட் டைம்ங்கிறது வந்து அது வந்து இப்போ என்னன்னா அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம்ல உள்ள இதே அந்த எடுக்கும் பிசிஆர் நெகட்டிவா வந்திருக்கிற வந்து அது ஒரு லெபார்டரி எரரா கூட இருந்திருக்கலாம். ப்ராபபிலி கண்டினியூஸா பிசிஆர் பாசிட்டிவா இருந்திருக்கணும். ஆர் சாம்பிளிங் பூவர் சாம்பிளிங் கலெக்ஷன்ல அந்த டைம்ல நெகட்டிவா இருந்திருக்கணும். ஸோ சப்சிக்வெண்டா அது பாசிட்டிவா அது காமிச்சிருக்கு. தட்ஸ் வாட் லிட்ரேச்சர் சேஸ் தெர் இஸ் நோ சச் திங் ரீஇன்ஃபெக்ஷன் வர்றது இல்லை அப்படின்ட்டு. இந்த பிரைமரி இதனுடைய இதுதான் கண்டினியூஸ், எஸ்பெஷலி நர்ஸ் கோமார்பிட் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் நிறைய இருந்துச்சுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ whenever you have comorbid condition, PCR positivity prolongs.
இப்போ நம்ம எப்படி பேஷண்ட்ஸ்க்கு அட்வைஸ் பண்றது? நிறைய இந்த பாசிட்டிவ் ஆயிட்டு நல்லா ஆனவங்க வெளியில தெரியுறாங்களே.
தாராளமா இப்போ என்னன்னா இன்ஃபெக்டிவிட்டி ஆசேஜ் பார்க்கும்போது மேக்ஸிமம் நம்ம வந்து அந்த சேஃபர் சைட் ஒரு 28 days வச்சுக்கலாம். இப்போ நம்மளுடைய யாருக்கோ அட்வைஸ் கொடுக்கும்போது 14 days. By the time of 14 days, almost non-infective, 95% of the population வச்சுக்கலாம். But we cannot take risk. It depends on the individual also, especially diabetes இருந்துச்சுன்னா they will be continue to be infective for some more time. So வீட்டில் அந்த மாதிரி கோமார்பிட் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு வந்து you can advise further self isolation at home for some more time.
ட்ரம்ப்புக்கு மாத்திரம் கொஞ்சம் கம்மி நாள் ஆனா ட்ரம்ப்புக்கு மாத்திரம் எப்பயுமே கொஞ்சம் கம்மி நாள்.
அவர் மாஸ்க் போடாம சுத்துவாரு.
இல்ல ட்ரம்ப் வந்து அவர் ஒரு ஸ்டைலே தனிதான். ட்ரம்ப் ஸ்டைல்னே வச்சுக்கலாம், ரஜினி ஸ்டைல் மாதிரி. But it is a good thing to see him walking here and there, especially just 2 days இருந்தாரு வந்துட்டாரு. ரொம்ப ஆச்சரியமா தான் இருக்கு எனக்கு. But they say they have received some extra special treatment in the form of monoclonal antibody treatment எல்லாம் எடுத்திருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்லாம் சொல்றாங்க. But we don't know the reality. அவருக்கு உள்ள இல்னஸ் மைல்டா இருக்கலாம், வெளியே to show himself, especially the elections இருக்கனால நவம்பர்ல he may be behaving as if he is very quite well. But in fact it may not be.
இது சீசனல் ஃப்ளூன்னு சொல்றாங்க. அவருக்கு வந்ததே சீசனல் ஃப்ளூ தான், not corona அப்படின்றாங்க.
Going to the lighter side, I could see a lot of our many new entries.
Yeah. That's what I want to tell you.
I could see. In fact, we have been going on this Zoom for quite some time, but I have seen specifically some very new entries, including Selva, nice to see Selva, Thiruvaimozhi. I could see Shanti.
Thiruvaimozhi முதல்ல வந்திருக்காரு.
Thiruvaimozhi is already there. Yeah.
Shanmugavadivu is new. Shanmugavadivu.
Girija is there. Shanti. Very nice to see.
Quite interesting to know about Dr. Selva Lakshmi, very much dedicated to cancer patients. That is a wonderful thing. Dr. Selva Lakshmi.
Thank you.
Applause.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Purnima is showing her granddaughter. See her granddaughter. Yes, she is smiling now.
We can see.
Yeah,
she is smiling.
So sweet.
See. Okay. See, பாவம் young kids எல்லாம் மாஸ்க் போடுறப்பதான் எனக்கு பாவமா இருக்கு. ரொம்ப young kids
வீட்டுக்குள்ள இருக்கும்போது மாஸ்க் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கீங்கன்னு தெரியல எனக்கு. குழந்தை பேர் என்ன? பூரிமா குழந்தை பேரு?
I cannot see da.
மேட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்க பாரு. குழந்தை எல்லாம் பெரிய போட்டு
நல்லா இருக்கு. நல்ல பெரிய
பேஜ் 2 க்கு போங்க. ரெண்டு பேஜ் இருக்கு கேலரி வியூல இருக்கு.
You go to the gallery 2 போமா. குழந்தை பேர் என்ன?
இங்க போறது தெரியல எனக்கு.
மேல
பூர்ணிமா you are muted.
ஸ்பீக்கர் வியூ இருக்கும். பூர்ணிமா பேசினா வரும்.
ஒரு செக்ரட்டரி வெச்சுக்க ஜெயந்தி. Sweet
Hi Purnima.
Okay.
Hi. Yeah, now I can see.
Hello. Tapasya. Hello.
Tapasya.
Hi Tapasya.
Puri, குழந்தை பாரு.
Hello பாரு கூப்பிடுறாங்க பாரு. Tapasya கூப்பிடுறாங்க பாரு. Say hello.
Hi.
Jayanthiya.
ஆமா.
ஓ மொட்டை மாடிக்கு வந்திருக்கு பூர்ணிமா.
ஆமா மேல இருக்கு. அதனால மாஸ்க் போட்டுருக்காங்க.
Lot of people were here.
Hey Nirmala is there from Malaysia.
மலேசியா
அங்க கொரோனா எப்படி இருக்கு சொல்ல மாட்டேன்றாங்களே.
சொல்ல
மலேசியால எப்படி
மாட்டாங்க,
கொரோனா இருக்கு?
பேசிட்டே இருக்காங்களா? இல்ல இப்ப திரும்பி எங்க ஏரியால கொஞ்சம் கேசஸ் வந்திருக்கு. So all over, அதனால ஃப்ரைடேல இருந்து 6 to 6 தான் எங்களுக்கு ஆக்டிவிட்டி. So they are strictening. We cannot go to other states, cannot cross border after 6 to restrict the movements, because people start traveling and they are bringing in infections one by every area got one case. So about 160 cases in our state. So not even our state, just our town. Our town has been restricted now from Friday 6 to 6.
சண்முகடிவு உங்க ஏரியால எப்படி இருக்கு? திருப்பூர்ல எப்படி இருக்கு சண்முகடிவு? நியூ என்ட்ரன்ட் அவங்க சண்முகடிவு ரொம்ப நாளைக்கு அப்புறம் பதா உள்ள வராங்க.
சண்முகடிவு நீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணணும். நீங்க மியூட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க.
அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு பேசுமா சண்மா வடிவு.
இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நிறைய பேர் ஜூம்க்கு இது ஆகணும், பிராக்டிஸ் ஆகணும். ஆமா, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் இதுவா இருக்காங்க. ஆமா,
தியாகு
ஜூம் இல்லிட்ரேட்டர் இருக்காங்க. தியாகுக்கு எல்லாரும் ஒரு தேங்க்ஸ் சொல்லுங்கப்பா. நல்லா அந்த வீடியோ வந்து கஷ்டப்பட்டு அவன் செஞ்சு கொடுத்தான்பா. அதுக்கு தேங்க்ஸ் சொல்லுங்க எல்லாரும்.
Thank you தியாகு.
சூப்பர் சூப்பர். ஆனா பயங்கரமா
நன்றி.